Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Easy 8 Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, says it right down there at the bottom of the screen. Wow, episode 48. This year is moving on. I hope you guys are all doing really well. I've had a fantastic week. Well, I haven't had much of a hobby week, but the week that I've had has been really good. Last week I had a back injury. This week is much better. It's still not as good as I'd want it to be. It has prevented me from actually doing an awful lot of hobby. So this week I'm really looking forward to kind of getting stuck back in and getting through a lot of my collection, which I've been mounting up over the last few months. I had a good sort of reflection period about my habit, and it is a habit. And yeah, today is about kind of not necessarily setting the targets, because I don't think I'm ready to commit at that sort of level. But it's certainly about looking about what I have and what I haven't achieved and how far I've come in terms of a hobbyist or a painter. Before we get going though, of course, we've got some people that have joined us way before I was even online this afternoon, or this evening, sorry. I've got Kesslin, I've got Luke, I've got Adrian, I've got Jeff, and I've got Chris, all saying hello in their own different ways. Hi all, thanks ever so much for coming along again. Nice to see you all there. Had a message from Leslie just minutes before the show in live saying, hey dude, sorry I'm not going to make it. I love the fact that I get all these messages about you people wanting to turn up to the show, whatever. It's great. It is part of the feel of this community as a show. It is a social club. It's a painting club. It's not a tutorial. If this is the first time that you've been here or that you're passing through maybe on replay, this isn't a tutorial or anything like that at all. There's so much of that out there already on YouTube and all the other platforms as well. This is just somewhere where you can come along, join in with these guys over there, myself as well, and just kind of have that live company painting through your collection. We are also on Facebook. Yeah, I pointed in the right direction. We're also on Instagram. Yes, not just on YouTube. We're also on Discord as well. So at the end of the show, I will be on for a short period of time where you can come and have a chat with me, the rest of the community, on a video chat if you want to. There's pictures, there's links, there's just everything over there on Discord. It's fantastic. If you do go over to any of the other platforms, do consider dropping us a like or even following us, and maybe even subscribing to the YouTube channel, because every little bit really helps us make this this community more every time. So yes, just do it. Just subscribe. Click the little bell icon down there so that you never miss a video going live or being uploaded or anything like that. There you go. I am going to warn the community out there this evening that I'm having a little bit of latency issue with some of my other hardware. I've got a few other bits and pieces that are all linked to the network here, and they are being a little bit laggy. I'm looking at my CPU usage right now, and it's up and down like it always is, but just in case, because it's happened in the past, hasn't it, and it lets me down sometimes, if this video gets cut for any reason, I can't restart it. I have to start a new video. So to the broadcast gods, I hope that this video doesn't get cut. If it does, I will start a new video. So just go straight over to the YouTube homepage on the Easy 8 homepage on YouTube, and just see what new videos come up there. If you've clicked the bell icon, you should get a notification about it. So there you go. If it does get cut, I'll put a new video up. It's the only way that I've learned how to do it. Anyway, would love to know what you guys are up to this evening. If you're painting something this evening or just coming along for the chit chat, let us know what it is that you're wanting to get out of this evening. Maybe you're painting a particular project, maybe you finished painting a particular project and you just kind of want to get some criticism or just show it off. That's what this is all about. So let us know what it is that you're up to, because I would love to know. And I'm going to walk you through some of my projects in just a moment. Like I say, I haven't got anything done this week. I haven't even picked up a paintbrush at all. Normally I at least find 5-10 minutes to kind of do something, or I sneak down after dinner and someone else is doing the dishes and kind of paint away, but I haven't had that chance to do it. My back it's been in a terrible condition, not crippled, but it's just been really painful. I went and saw an osteopath. He did a really good job on me. It was fantastic, but I'm still getting lots of pains in the front of my shoulder, especially this one here. So every now and again at work, I was picking up my cup of tea, because I work really hard. I pick up my cup of tea, and it's like stabbing pain. It's horrible, and he dropped my cup on several occasions, but I didn't, because I'm a British champion. So yeah, haven't really had that much to do here in the studio this week, which is sad, really. Anyway. Kyle, I spoke to Kyle at length last weekend, it must have been Sunday, I spoke to him, and it's the first time I spoke to him in a long time. It was really nice to catch up with him. If you don't know who Kyle is, or can't remember, Kyle's my co-host. We haven't seen him all summer. He has been working really, really hard. He's also been really quite poorly. He's been put on medication and he's recovered. He's doing really, really well. But he is really looking forward to coming back. He said it's been a struggle trying to keep the hobby going, and he looks forward to coming back and being a part of the community that you guys have all, been a part of and created. Yeah, he hasn't done very much at all. He was trying to make it on for this evening, hasn't been able to. Did send me a message earlier on in earnest saying sorry. There has been plans. They've been in plan for a while. Maybe we'll see him next week, but he is looking to return as soon as possible, and that would be delightful to get another voice here, and to just get Kyle back, because we love Kyle. Some comments going in. Keston says, I am painting a Battlemech Mad Cat Mark II and a bull shark. That's not a bull shark, for those of you who wonder. He's not like a shark like swimming in the sea. A mech, also called bull shark. But the lighting in my room is making it difficult. Yeah, it's like a key thing. You've got to get some decent lights, just some daylight bulbs or something like that. Just some little clippy things, or even make some like LED strips. You've seen the ones like on like Facebook or Instagram or something like that, where people have made little archways over their tables with little LEDs. Just plug them in, or even with a little battery. Have a little look, just have a little Google check maybe, and just see. It might be a really simple and cost-effective solution to help light the area that you paint with. And little light bulbs or even little LEDs, you could be probably able to pack them away to kind of clear your space a little bit when you're not painting. But who doesn't paint? I mean, who doesn't not paint? Everyone paints, right? Chris says, just watching today as I've been a little sick. Oh, dude, I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope you're on the mend. I hope you're feeling better. Just thanks for coming along just for the company. That makes me feel warm inside. That's not just the tea. Luke says, I've got a dwarf with a... if you just leave it there, that's a weird sentence. I've got a dwarf. Cheers. I've got a dwarf with a green beard on the go for a friend. A dwarf with a green beard. Why a green beard? Do tell. Interested. Anyway, I've got a dwarf. That's going straight on the Discord, isn't it, Luke? I know you. Every time I say something stupid, Luke puts it on Discord. Jeff says, I'll be making my gun. Thanks for the prezi. So it was Jeff's 61st birthday a few weeks ago. I was getting a bit late to go around and see him, but I bought him a present, and it's an MDF laser cut shotgun that fires elastic bands. It's brilliant. So have fun making that. You're very welcome, by the way. That is a good cup of tea. Going through it fast though. So this week, I wanted to be looking back at all of the projects that I've been doing. I've got many of them sat around the desk, and I feel a bit bad because I've not finished anything. I feel quite terrible about it actually, but I haven't finished anything for a long time. And the whole point of this show, the whole ethos of it, is to get through projects that you haven't finished. But in the interest of kind of making new and regular content so that the show doesn't kind of get bogged down or stagnated with the same thing that you're watching week on, because I don't have a lot of time during the week to kind of, especially when it's not in the winter, when I'm working a lot, I don't get all that time to really focus into it. So yeah, I've always made sure that I've had something kind of regularly changing projects, so it's meant that I've not been able to finish something. Last week I did manage to finish something, sort of, still not finished completely, but it was a good experimentation on the grim dark style of painting, which I was really, really chuffed with, and I'll show you a bit more a bit closer up in just a second, just to kind of remind you. However, in reflection of what I was doing, I have decided the colour of the green that I've used is too dark. Now that might be the fact that I was using the technique of the staining using the streaking grind from AK Interactive might be a bit too heavy and dulled it down too much, or it might be that the green that I chose was too dark, or probably a combination of the two. Looking at it under studio lights, it looks fabulous. I'm blown away with it. It's so simple, and I could churn out a whole squad of those in a couple of hours, which is a part of the point of the project. But actually, under normal lighting, like in my house and other areas of the room where I don't have studio lights and things, it all just kind of looks a little bit like it's not... You don't see the full effect of what it is. So, looking back onto the Grimdark Compendium, my inspiration, another YouTube channel out there that I followed or examined revised, you know what I mean, studied to kind of get that style down. He did mention to use desaturated palette, which I did say last week, and I thought that the colour that I was using was good enough. I don't think it is. I think I need to go lighter. What you need to do is go really, really light and really, really dark, and there's no mid-tones, so you get this popping kind of contrast straight from the darks right up to the lights, and it kind of gives you this really stark pow. It's like Batman. Pow, stark contrasts. So I'm hoping that I might play around some different greens and see if I can make them a bit brighter, so that when the stains go on there, it shows it off a bit more. I'll show you in just a second the colours that I'm looking at. A couple of comments going in. Luke says, just thought it would look cool. I call him Old Mossbeard. Yeah, why not? Cool. Keston says, nice name. And Luke says, thank you. Ah, bless you guys. Anyway, shall we go over to the workbench? Let's have a little look over here. I've lost it. Where is it? Here it is. Workbench. So yeah, here is my little Primaris Marine. I really like him, and the colours are brilliant. I think he's a fabulous model. I think the colours work really well on him. I did try to paint over the little symbol on his shoulder because I thought that when the streaking grime had gone onto it, it looked it kind of washed it away a little bit. So I tried to bring it out with some contrasting white paint. I didn't do it justice, so I got a really tiny amount of isopropyl alcohol, just ever so gently with a tiny brush, just kind of washed it away. And you can see that it's ever so slightly glossy because it's gone down through the layers of varnish, because I glossed it all on this area to kind of help hide the water slide transfer, and then I matted over the top. So if he was to be finished, obviously he'd need a base, some base effects doing, but he would also need to be rematted, just because I kind of ruined it. I have thought about putting him in isopropyl alcohol, stripping him right down and starting again, because this is a one-off model that I've got. It would be kind of nice just to use it as an experimentation. But what I might do, I had a chat with my dad. He was like, it'd be kind of a shame to lose this piece as the test that you've used. And you're right, it is. And I don't necessarily have a place for this one Primaris Reaver. Maybe I will in the future, as and when I find that, perhaps I will then strip him down and take him back down to plastic. I like it. It's really good, but it is really dark. Even under these, on the screen you can see that where the green is. But if I was to start taking away lights, if I just turn that one away here and turn that one away here, you can see already now that he's starting to look a little bit dim, a little bit dark. You can't really see, even though you can see that it's a green colour, the effects aren't there, and that's a real shame. The colour that I used was Goblin Green by Vallejo. I used the Game Air range because I just sprayed it through the airbrush because it was just the green that came to me, and I didn't really use it a lot, so I thought I'd give it a go. However, what I'm probably going to do is resort back to my AK Interactive modulation set for painting Second World War Olive Drab. I love this colour range. It's beautiful to work with. I've used it a few times. I've used it on a 28mm Sherman, and then a couple of 15mm Shermans as well. I love working with these colours. It's just a beautiful range. It has a couple of... Well, it has a whole range of paints in here, and basically the idea is it goes all the way from shadow, dark bases, through the midtones, and then right up to the highlights. They are all olive green. They are just different saturations of the same hue. So for example, the dark shadow here, so I've got dark base and dark shadow. If I give this one a really good shake, you can see that it's almost a brown colour. But if I work my way all the way up to the highlight, which they call the shine, which is the brightest colour, which I barely use it unless I'd be painting something like in 1/35th, where there's more surface areas and details to kind of hit that colour, you can see the difference here. So it's the same hue, different saturation. I have painted a librarian ages and ages ago. I never really finished him, as always. I think I painted him in one of the two mid-tone colours, and he came out okay, but it was the same sort of brightness, luminosity if you like, as this guy, which isn't what I'm after. So I'm thinking about maybe moving up to like the sort of highlight colours here, where if I give this one a really good shake, we should be able to see it. So what I was going to do is I was just going to put a little dab on the palette of each of the three higher colours to see what sort of colours they are. And then I've got some more Space Marines somewhere around. I've got some aggressors, 3 of them. They're beautiful models. I really like them. And they're on the sprue still, so maybe over the next couple of weeks I'll kind of glue them all together in the configurations that I want, and then I'll give them a try in these different hues. So if I just move that little box away here, the first thing I thought I'd do is just on my little palette, I was just going to put some little dollops. My lights kind of wash everything out, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So the first colour that I'm going to use here is the middle of those tones. So it comes from here. This is the light base. I'm going to give it a really good shake just to make sure that the colour's mixed. I do want to get a little vortex paint mixer because it would make this effort so much quicker. I could literally just go done, you know. But I can't afford one just yet, even though they're only about 25 to 30 quid, because I've just bought a load more stuff. I haven't bought hobby supplies. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So here is the light base. So we can see it's quite a nice colour. It's quite close to the goblin green. If I go to my highlight colour, so this is the middle of the 2 higher colours, brighter colours. I hope you can see that sort of colour okay there. Give it a shake, there we go. This is my lighter colour here. Doesn't look to be an awful lot of difference at first glance, but when I'm looking at the 2 colours together, I can see you can see there, even though you can't really pick up the colours very well with the bright lights, you can see that one is quite a bit darker than the other already, and that's the sort of colour I think I need to be getting to. So I think I need to chalk off light base and look at the 2 bright colours there, give the highlight shine. Really big shake there. And this is going to be verging into creamy white colours. I've got a shaky hand now. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that it's going to be one of those 2 colours here. This is really, really quite bright. And if I compare him, I do hope that the lights are kind of giving it justice. Let me reposition my lights. Here we go. That might kind of give you a bit more of an idea. I really like the colours on here. You just don't get to see it. And if you've got a whole war game table, if you've got a whole, sorry, I was reading comments and I completely froze. If you've got a whole war games table of an army painted like this, then you're going to lose those. You're going to lose the effect of over the whole army. So it's quite a concern, really. Now, if I give the goblin green a shake a minute and just kind of put this one here, I should be able to see the colour difference, and it is a crazy difference. So yeah, I don't know what to do. What I'll do, because I'm not entirely sure if the studio lights here are really showing that off very well on your screens. It might not get a good enough shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo of it and I will put it on the EZ8 Facebook page so that you can head on over there right now. If you wanted to, you don't have to, obviously. So here we go. Let's get rid of that. I want to take a photo. Here we go. I'll move my lights in a bit closer because I need to with this. There. What shall I put? Color tests. Color tests. On tonight's show. Episode 48. Exclamation mark. Not overused at all. There we go. Let's see if you can, if it makes a difference for you to be able to see the colours. Jeff says, best get a move on with all your projects as it's your birthday soon. Yeah, you're quite right. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. I might not even use these colours here. I might actually get the Games Workshop version of their olive green, Elysian green, or Cadian green, or whatever it is now, and see how that holds up. Yeah, interesting. But that's not really what I want to be focusing on too much at the moment. What I really want to be getting on with is all of these bad boys here. So these are all my rangers that I've not given much love to recently, all on their little armatures. So I'm just going to pop those guys. Oh, hello. Maybe I won't put them over there. I've got them all tangled on my light wires. Oh no. Don't ruin it. I'm going to pop these over here. So I've got the alpha right here, where he's almost done, I think. Really quite chuffed with him. They're not as tidy or as neat as I would like them to be, but you know, I was trying to rush them out as quick as I could and sort of maintain some level of painting skill. On this guy, I've painted all the brass works on him, all the things that I would normally have painted or considered to paint gold. I've painted with bright bronze, and it works really well. I'm really happy with how the gun looks, because I was quite concerned about how that pistol was going to come out. Bring my lights in a bit closer. Here we go. Yeah, and I've painted lots of little details on it in that same sort of colour. He's got some lenses and things to go, but I think generally I don't want to go too much with it. Less is more. I've been saying that from the beginning. He's painted his hoses. They're all black, which I like them being black. That was a discussion I had a little while ago. Yeah, I think he's pretty much ready to start going together, but I've also got to do their legs. They don't have an awful lot to do on their legs. I've just got a little bit of highlighting to do on them. So what I want to do is I want to get all the legs done, just a tiny bit of dry brushing or even just edge highlighting, and for that I'm going to use Alien Purple. It's a bit of a weird colour to use against the colours that I've got here, but it just kind of adds a little bit of a dimension to them in terms of their highlights. So once I've got all the legs done, then I can kind of just fire and forget about those and go straight back over to all the torsos, knowing that, you know, all their trousers are all painted, basically. So if I just get a little bit on my palette here, there. I can't remember if I added white to it in the past, so I'm just gonna go with it really. Gonna get my little army painter. I'm not gonna go like a mental dry brush. I'm just gonna kind of somewhere between an edge highlight and a dry brush. So bring it into shot here. I've got a little bit of purple here, and I'm just going to kind of wipe a little bit of it off and then sort of edge highlight. I wonder if this is the right colour to use. I think I might have actually, yeah, it looks like I might have added some white to it somewhere. Yeah, that's not the best colour there, is it? Compare it to this guy here. I'm looking. Did I even highlight them? Maybe I can just save some time. Do they even need to be highlighted? Let me add a 50-50 ratio mix of white. Let's separate it a little bit. Give that a shake. Yeah, so I'm going to add a 50-50 ratio of white paint to that purple and just see what difference that makes. Jeff says, I think I would try a more yellow-green. Oh, okay. Yeah, perhaps. I know what you're saying. The medium separated from my white paint, so it looks like it's quite gungy, quite watery. That is actually looking quite a familiar colour. Might add just a bit more white paint into that. You can see that I've gone quite bright purple. My lights bleach everything out here. Add a bit more white into that. I don't think I think I can get away without actually highlighting them, because as you can tell by the Marshall, he's actually his, I suppose, fatigues, his trousers, they're mostly hidden. The reason I highlight them is because when I was trying to replicate colours, I was just set up in my living room and I had the codex with me, and I was just trying to replicate the colour as best as I possibly could from the picture, and I remember adding a little bit of this purple colour to it as a highlight, and it just seemed to make quite a bit of difference. But in the interest of saving time, do I even need to? That looks a bit better though, doesn't it? Can I go even paler? Can I? My paints are so wet, I might actually have to move to a dry brush. Okay, that's what I'll do. This is why it takes me so long. Get anything done, so I can never remember how I did anything. I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't think I need to worry about it. What does the community think? Do I need to? Should I highlight the little creases in these trousers, or is that enough? I think. Do you know what? I think I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to paint there. Going to paint all the hoses and things. You've got little hoses in there. I've painted all the brass works in there, so I've got some black paint. But while I have a think about that, I'm just going to change to a different part of my palette. I'm going to get some black paint in here. I'm just going to paint all their hoses. Hoses attached to their hoses. I'm going to need a finer point, I think, so I'll use my Kolinsky brush. Okay. There is a lot on these that you're not going to see, and I always feel a bit silly sometimes kind of painting them, because it feels almost like it's pointless. But if on the off chance you can ever see it and you can't get in there to paint it, you know, you're going to kick yourself, aren't you? The black paint here is really quite thin because, again, it's designed for airbrush. Painting over the silver here, it's not covering it properly because I painted all the hoses silver originally. I quite like it, like a little bit of silver showing through. Okay, there's one. Let's move on. Kessler says, I write down the paints and methods I use for my models, so I don't forget it if I take a break. Yeah, now you see, the reason I didn't do that is because I thought, in my infinite wisdom, I've got a show, I could just go back and watch it. Problem is I can't remember where where I did it, and every show is 2 hours long. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I just couldn't be bothered. But I kind of wanted to achieve sort of a middle ground with these in terms of effort I put into them, and you know, and how good they look at the end. I kind of wanted to get like a bit of a fun army going, learn to use some new colours, and just see if I could get a bit faster without actually losing too much quality. I am a bit of a perfectionist at the same time. Now, when I come to do like standalone models, like maybe a vehicle or a character or something like that, or a smaller unit of maybe more elite things, I'll spend a bit more time on them. But these rangers are supposed to be like the rank and file, so ideally you would have quite a few of them, so the idea is to save a little bit of time when it comes to painting them. And this has all come about because I very kindly was donated by Adrian, who's watching tonight, an armature, which I wanted to paint in the same colours. So by the time I get around to that armature, I would like to be better at painting this colour scheme, and it really stand out as a bit of a centerpiece, but still blend in because, you know, the colour scheme will be the same. And it's okay to not have every single model perfect. I am a gamer as much as I am a painter. Although I haven't played a game of 40k for such a long time. But the other day, was it Friday? We got to play some games. I'm sure, yeah, it was Friday. Perhaps I even spoke about it last week. We got to play some, yeah, I'm sure we did. Played some games of Water Tanker with my dad. First games I think that he's played since I was born, so that was good fun. Played a couple of games. You know, it would be quite nice to make it, well, not maybe not a regular thing, but you know, a semi-regular thing, or maybe a regular thing. I'll pop around, Dad. Come around as often as we can allow and play a couple of games. So I bought a load of new terrain for it. Because all the tanks that I use are 15mm, I don't have any 15mm terrain. So Jeff, being the cool artist man that he is, made me a load of sort of hedgerows and trees and a couple of ruined houses and whatever. But I thought, you know what, I'll expand my range a bit more. So I started having a look at laser cut MDF terrain. I don't normally go for that sort of thing. I prefer plastic or resin kits and things like that, or even homemade stuff, because, well, you know, Jeff, my dad, is a maker. But I thought, well, when it comes to 15mm, you know, buy lots quickly, you know, small enough you can store them away. Doesn't really matter what they're really made from, or even their quality. So I found a couple of really good makers out there. My two favourites for 15mm wartime stuff has been TT Combat and Foreground, and they are very different in what they provide. TT Combat offers quantity for cost, effectivity, I suppose, whatever you want to call it. As where Foreground, you get a little bit less, but you pay a little bit more because the quality is a little bit better, I think. So just kind of, what do you want to get out of it? So I thought, well, I could fill a table for just a couple of quid and get lots of little houses, but actually, you know, I would like them to be a little bit better. That's not to say that the TT Combat stuff isn't good. It's wonderful. It has a place, for sure. But I just thought I'd get a few nicer things. So I spent quite a bit of money, don't tell the other half, on some houses. I got 3 terraces. I think each terrace has got about 2 or 3 houses on it. And I was going to get some walls, but I didn't like the walls very much, so I thought I'd make my own walls. And then I went to another company and I bought a game mat. So I'm waiting with bated breath to discover the quality of that gaming mat, because there are so many different types out there, and the one that I got is really affordable, and I'm hoping that the quality is going to be really good. I got a cloth one and there's a lot of neoprene rubber out there that drives the price up a little bit, so I thought I'd get a cheap cloth one and just see what it's like. So Dad, maybe if we're going to play a game sometime soon, we'll be playing with lots of new toys and game mats and all sorts. That'll be fun. Lovely. Painted those hoses. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint the purity seals on them. And to do that, I will... Where's my scarlet? I based them scarlet. There's a lot of scarlet in this colour scheme. Was it scarlet or was it gory red? It was gory red, wasn't it? Where's my gory red? There it is. Gory red, and then I highlight it just a little bit with a little bit of bloody red. And then that should give me, where is he? A little purity seal under here. You can just about see it. It's one on his shoulder as well. So just a couple in there. Luke says, maybe try a dry fit with the cloaks to see what parts you can see on them, save time on. Yeah, that's actually not a bad shout. I'm sure that they actually have like best fit with certain cloaks, so I am going to go back through them all and work out which one's better. This one obviously has to go for the sniper, but the other four, they might just be interchangeable. Let's get a bit of gory red in there. Any purity seals on this bad boy? Nothing. Got one on the ankle of this guy here. Lovely. What about this guy? Nothing. I'll put them in separate piles. Got one on the thigh of this one. Got a little, yeah, a little bit of debris stuck to that one. That's gone. Lovely. They just need like another coat, so they just need to dry a little bit. They do dry pretty quickly, especially when you're using this paint in such small quantities. I haven't got my partner's hairdryer in here today, which would speed the process right up. But it's just a case really of just giving them a little bit of a blow. I've got my airbrush here. Get some air on there. Let's give them just a second coat just to make sure that it's nice and opaque. A little bit of white showing through there. It's little details like this that I find quite easy to cheapen the whole model by missing like a little fleck of white or something. There wasn't one on, that was just these two. Okay. And again, just a little bit of air. Accelerate that drying process. Lovely. Okay. Just wash the brush out. I just come back with a little bit of bloody red, which is much brighter, clowny red, really. And then I just go around the outside circle of the purity ring, like it's a stamp. So there's a depression in the center, and like a donut, raised donut around the outside. And I just kind of hit that with a little bit of the highlight color. It just kind of brings it out a little bit. There's no need to go in really with any kind of dark stain or anything like that. I mean, I could do later on. Perhaps I'll go over the tiniest amount of Nuln or something like that, and it might just enhance the highlight a little bit. But I don't want the colours to be drowned out with a shade. It's a bit waterier, a bit more watery, this paint. There we go. And then over here, again, just a bit of air from the airbrush. Lovely. Okay, cool. Gonna have another quick look at these legs and just make sure that there isn't anything on them that isn't painted. I think they're all looking pretty good. Right. Back to this bad boy. Is there anything on there that needs to be sort of improved? I unfortunately, because I rushed him, there is some like gold sort of over paint around here, but I'm hoping that when the backpack goes on it might hide a load of that, who knows. Obviously with the purity seals I've just done down there, I do have to get some text on them. That is really tricky. It's just getting a little bit of black paint with a really fine point, just kind of making text symbols across it, text lines, or you know, see how that goes. And then I might just end up putting them together and see where we're at. Okay. Anything on here that I want to do? Got a little lens on there. Again, less is more, I think. Little dial, perhaps at some point, maybe in the future, I'll put a little colour into the little dial. It's so tiny, but just to maybe bring it up. Maybe I'll even put like the bright silver in it just to make the dial stand out. The little, like a pointer in the dial. Maybe it'll stand out a bit more if I did so. There's another dial in there as well. But all these things, am I good enough to tackle them? It does look like it's got little straps with buckles on, so maybe later on I'll give those a shot. But they can all go together now, I think. Last little check. Okay. I think I'm going to take him off of the armature and put him together. Can you guys see anything that needs painting? A handle of his sword might benefit from something, but again, I can do that when he's all together. Okay, I'm going to take him off the armature. Let's see what the comments are going in. Jeff says, I'd best order some figures then, just 3 or 4. Or tigers. Sorry, tigers. Yeah, I mean, you can. Didn't they have some seals inside the kits? Yeah, one of them had one inside, but this guy is just 2 on the outside of him for now. Armature's really stuck in it. I drilled a little hole and just put a little bit of super glue inside, so I'm just trying to just nice and gently just tease him off just by kind of twizzling. There we go, twizzling him around, and he pops right out. The reason I've done it this way around is because the last time I did the Marshall, I just stuck a skewer with super glue and then that super glue just made it impossible to glue anything to. And then this one should just come away. Or have I done the same with this one as well? Okay. Just gently. Gentle, gentle. Come on now. Come on. Okay. There we go. I think I've actually taken a piece of the metal off of that one. Yeah, I think I have. Might need to drill that out. I didn't expect that to happen. Oh, Danny, you and your infinite wisdom. Well, I'll come back to backpack. At least it's off the armature. One less to worry about, right? So, yeah, I thought so. Some of them are going to struggle fitting together. So it's about finding the right one. Nope. I think it's this one here, you know, the one that walks. No, I'm wrong there as well. I do have, because I am clever, I do have the instructions just down beside me in case I can't work out which one they go with. There we go. And this is what I'm talking about with the details that are hidden. Is that purity seal just down here? The red's hidden. But on the off chance, maybe take a photograph of him, you can see it, the white will just stand out and it would look rubbish. So you've got to be careful. At the same time, is it worth doing all those highlights on those trousers that I was talking about a minute ago? It's all hidden in there. Yeah, cool. Well, there he is. Now all I've got to do is see if I can get that little piece of wire armature out from in there. Jess says, "Sniper, you fool. Sniper, you fool." What do you mean, sniper, you fool? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. What to do? Interesting little problem I've created for myself here. This is not going according to plan. To be fair, this was a good idea. It's just, yeah, it's not going very well. Some more comments going in. So I thought it was the sniper mini. No, but it's a cattle prod. Yeah. Oh, steady on. myself open. Today, on today's show, we've all learned the reason why Danny never gets anything done. I'm a real one step forward, two steps back kind of a guy. So what it looks like is the actual the sort of coating on the wire has come away inside. It's left a bit of the wire in as well, but that's actually buried in quite deep. But it's this plastic coating on the wire that's stuck inside there. But I've managed to remove enough where it might not be too much of a problem. It's going to slot onto this little ball on the back, so I might just be able to get away with just kind of filing some of that away, and then it should sit on there quite snug, like so. Won't have to be too much. I don't want to be handling it too much because I'll end up removing a lot of the paintwork on it. Just a little bit digging around inside in there. Let's have just a little scrape around with various tools, just trying to remove any kind of just obstructions or bits of debris. Well, at least I make a YouTube channel that shows people what not to do. This is why it's not a tutorial, because I don't have a clue half the time. Right, should be a bit better. That is actually much better. Okay, cool. Excuse me. We're pretty close to the point where we should be going away for a break, so it'll give me an opportunity to clean that little miniature up, get him glued together, get that out of my throat, whatever that is. Yeah, and then I'll have one guy sort of painted and almost put together. Again, like the Marshal, I'm not going to glue his legs to his torso section yet, because it's going to be easier for me to do the base. And as I've been practicing with little bases lately, I'm kind of a little bit more happy with what I'm going to do to the bases. So they should all go together quite soon. Yes. Yes. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, an intermission. We'll just take 10 minutes, as we always do. So if you need to go and grab yourself a fresh drink, if you want to go to the bathroom or stretch your legs, refocus your eyes or something like that, now is the time to go and do it. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. You should definitely go and change your paint water. See you in a minute. Bye. And I'm back with a beer. Happy Friday. Cheers. I love having a beer. Do you know, my back is really hurting. Just because the position you have to take when you're painting, much better than it has been. But yeah, I'm hoping that the beer is going to take it all away. So while you were gone, I was just trying to clean up that little backpack, that little problem I got there. Put a little bit of glue on it, and it's not really holding. So, oh, excuse me, that's the beer coming back up. It's definitely going to be a super glue effort. So I'll come back to that in a minute. I'm going to let the poly cement just sort of dry. Oh, it's giving me the hiccups. I do apologise. So yeah, I'm just kind of working my way through the other ranges now. So just trying to identify which little details need picking up. Just trying to be as quick as I can with them without compromising on any of the details, etc. Well, sorry, the details, but the quality is what I meant to say. Yeah, just to see what I can get done as quick as possible. Certainly not going to have them done tonight, but hopefully within the week these guys will be done. They've taken already far too long. Let's head on back to the workbench. Here I am. So, I was just looking for any sort of brass features on him. There was only one feature. They're all ever so slightly different. There's just this little line up here, some sort of pipe or tube. Some of them have it on one shoulder, some have none, some have it on both. But it's just a little detail to pick out, just to kind of, when you're kind of looking at it in a bit more detail, it's just a little bit of something else to look at. So what I'm doing now is just got a bit more black. I'm going to go over the hoses because he's got quite a few of those. So push the alpha guy over there. Come back to you in a bit. So I'm going to try and work my way from top to bottom. So he's got a couple of hoses on the side of his head, like a little breather thing here. So I'm just there, and one here. And I realise actually there's like a clasp here which probably could benefit from being painted silver rather than the orange of his cloak. So I might have a look at the rest of them, see what I've done with all the others, and I might just put a bit of silver on that. Should coat with 1 or 2 coats of silver. Make sure I'm getting underneath. Lovely. And then I'll go to the other side of his face. Oh, it looks like he's got some sort of pipe work there, which could be picked out as brass. So maybe I'll do that there as well. Okay, we've got some on the torso section here. Now, where those hoses connect into, I'm trying to leave silver because I feel that the hoses would be a separate feature they kind of connect or clip into, if you like, whatever his armor is, or the emblem on his chest. I've got little sockets here. And knowing the Skitari, it probably goes right into him. Okay, a couple of little hoses there. I think hoses is something that I need to have a little practice doing just to make them look a bit better. It's one of those little details that I've never really been all that good at. And I like that, even though I'm not a massive fan of the Games Workshop box art, I do like the way that they have done their hoses. They are like just a straight black colour. with a tiniest highlighting of grey just across the front of them. There's not even a lot of it. It's not like the whole ridged surface is grey. It's like the just the front. And it's subtle, but it's so effective. But I'm just not that good. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was, like, you know, how far I've come in terms of the quality of my painting. Have I got better? I think I have. I think it's a slow journey. I watch with great study. I watch people on YouTube who are much better, you know, and kind of teach you how to do things. And I think I've certainly picked up inspiration along the way, and just through repetition and constantly working at it, I think I've got a little bit better. But I'm not as good as I want to be at this stage, and I think a lot of that comes down to having lots of projects and wanting to kind of move from one to the other, so I'm never really sticking on one long enough. And I'm always trying to rush because I feel like I've got to get something done for this show. Now that sounds like I'm pointing the finger of blame, but I'm trying to be as honest with myself as I can, and trying to find the reasons as to why I'm not as good as I want to be, so that I can, you know, work on it better. So I am being honest with myself and saying that there are things that kind of get in the way, and one of them is actually doing the show, which is kind of peculiar because, you know, I made the show to get on. I have certainly been at it more. Like, I've certainly been at the hobby table more than I ever used to be, which is good. That is a first part, isn't it? It's just sit down, pick up a paintbrush, and actually have a go, rather than just sitting there wishing for it to be done and it never getting done, which is what we are all guilty of at some point. I certainly am. So my goal really now is to just get through as many of my outstanding projects as I possibly can, so that I don't feel that I've got a lot sat on the table, you know, waiting to go all the time. So it's about, with the show, it's about finding the balance between, you know, getting stuff done and also not making it boring and the same thing all the time. Things will hopefully change as we move now into winter. I know I keep on saying I've only got a few weeks left, but the countdown has started at work now. I will still be working over the winter. I got my contract the other day for the winter. Yeah, so I'm going to be a little winter maintenance project guy working with a small team. Same place that I work at, just that because we're residential and seasonal work, there are no guests that come and stay with us over the winter because no one wants to do outdoor activities when it's cold, wet and minging. So we get to spend some time as a smaller part of the team and go around and make lots of repairs, do some painting and just kind of make everything look nice again. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that, hopefully on a shorter week, and just generally being able to leave my work at work, which I try to do as much as I possibly can. But you know, it's easy to come home and still have an email to do, or still be thinking about the thing, or working a 13-hour day. That's a regular thing at the moment, so it's all kind of preventing me to really get stuck into my painting. And of course, wherever I'm missing out time at home, I'm missing time with my partner, so then that takes away from it as well. And you do have to prioritize when you have an adult life. You do. He says, drinking a beer. So hopefully I'll just have a lot more time and I can prioritize differently to what I have been lately. The music stopped. There it is. Wow, am I really that boring? Say something. Okay, I think that's all his little hose is done there. Let's have a little look on this arm here. Has he got anything? I think he has a hand that needs, his hands need painting black. Some hands, I don't know if they should be black or if they should be silver. Is it all just different types of robotic hands? Because some of the hands look like they're gloved. But should these guys all just have bionic hands regardless? This guy here, you see, looks like he should have gloves with like a little metal patch on the back of them. Should that be? Or should it, you know, I don't know, I just don't know. Let's just go over to the backpack here first of all, because there's a couple of hoses on here. Let's start with this one. I've got the box art beside me, so what I'll do is I'll use that for a little bit of inspiration. And that's all it is. I'm such a detail addict, such a fine perfectionist. Whether or not my work is actually perfect or not, you know, that's a different matter. But I pay so much attention on the level of perfection when actually I could just probably move on. And just moving on has benefits beyond just getting on with it. It's getting on with it allows you to paint more often. It allows you to, rather than just sitting painting this one thing all night, it allows you to go and paint another one, and then another one, and another one. And that repetition, rather than just hanging around on the same thing, of course, is what will allow you to improve. Okay, just this little hose here. And the one thing that I was thinking about the other day with the style that I'm painting here is I'm using really poppy colours to create something quite bright without being as bright and cheerful as my Tyranids. The subject is dark with Tyranids, but the actual, you know, colour scheme is quite bright and cheerful. These guys, I've tried to tone it down and make them a little bit grimmer, and then the Space Marines that I'm painting are obviously just grim dark. I like to have the different styles or techniques, or, you know, just aesthetics with the different armies that I paint, because it's all learning something different every single time. But I kind of want to perfect that grim dark feel and do all of these guys in the same way, because I think that the orange colours and all the metalworks will look really good grim dark. But I started this, and I'm going to stay with it because I think it will look really good. Basically, but I need to perfect different styles and techniques. If you have, for example, have a look at the shoulders of the Marshal here compared to the Alpha, you can see a difference already. Marshal much brighter, Alpha much duller. What looks better? This probably looks more realistic. This looks a little too shiny. So already I am starting to improve. It's just about knowing where you're improving and identifying it, isn't it? Difficult sometimes, very difficult. Difficult to know when to be happy with your own results. Because it's not enough for me to just paint for 20 years. I have to paint for 20 years and be better. Now we can all remember our first ever model and look back and go, "Ooh, God, haven't we come so far?" But you have to be able to identify how far you've come, like in the last few months, or, you know, in the last 12 months, or, you know, whatever. not just from first to last. Okay, I need to wash my brush out. Let's have a look at the box art. Oh, just down the side of the table here. So here are the Mechanicus guys. Is it showing me what their hands are? We have a couple of gloved ones. We've got some metal ones. Okay, so they are doing theirs gloved as well. That's good to know. They got glove with metal bits on the back. It's just, for me, it's just I need to know what their intentions are, and it helps me define what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do with the model. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sort of spouting rubbish because, yeah, I need to know, did they intend this to be a gloved hand? Because in my head, all their limbs are bionic, but maybe it's a bionic gloved hand, who knows? But very clearly, that's a black glove there. As you can see here, little robot hands. So, okay, cool. Staying with the black hands. So that means I can now get a bit more black paint. What if I don't want it? There it is. Lovely. And I can go over their hands now. I suppose ideally I need to find a highlight colour as well, just to kind of a little bit of edge highlighting on their fingers, just so that it stands out a little bit better. Quite difficult to hold. I'm really feeling the burn with these, all these little details.